This is the Paranormal Report. Welcome to the Paranormal Report. I'm Jim.
I'm Dar. Hey, happy UFO day.
Hey, happy UFO day. You're looking a lot clearer these days. I can actually see you. Little
Yes,
camera
everyone.
adjustment.
Yes, it was a business expense.
No, actually, we didn't buy a new camera.
No, you just bought a light.
I bought a light and
Some cables.
some cables and a little stick to put it on. But we
He
had an
was
extra
just
camera.
not happy with my video at all.
Got to get it where it's crystal clear. Crystal clear, very important.
Yeah,
very
so you could
important.
see every stinking line and blemish on my face.
Hey, if it's good enough for me, it's good enough for you. So, yes,
yeah.
there we go. Well, the headline today, well, there were competing things that could have been headlines, even some things we didn't include. But this was an interesting one. Ross Coulthart, he's always at the forefront, newsnationnow.com and News Nation. He interviewed a senator, Senator Mike Rounds, a Republican from South Dakota, who said that he plans to reintroduce the UAP Disclosure Act, legislation that could push the federal government to release files and records related to UAPs. Now, that sounds great, but if you read on, it says, a stripped-down version of the original amendment was previously passed as part of the annual defense policy bill, but that iteration nixed several key provisions that were expected to lead to more transparency.
See?
Now, Rounds says he's getting with Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer from New York to move forward once again with this. Now, here's something interesting.
Okay.
I have no objections to submitting the legislation in its current form, but I would also work with my House counterparts to allay any concerns they may have. Now, I should have watched this episode. I didn't have time to watch it. So I'm not sure if he's referring to the way it was before it was stripped down or the stripped down version. But the take home to me is, here's what I think will happen. They'll put something in and it'll be so watered down it does nothing, but it'll sound good in a press release.
Of course. I'm with you on that one completely.
Yeah. I have no trust of the government at any time a bill comes forward and they start, well, we got to take this out and we got to take that out and we got to take this out. It's like, oh, you're basically stripping all the teeth out of it. And then you're going to put it forward and say, look what we did. We did all these great things for UAP disclosure.
Right.
So, but Rounds went on to say, his support for the amendment is driven by a desire for clarity, not by evidence of a smoking gun. Except there was such information that existed, we were directing that it be preserved and then it be delivered for appropriate persons and for review by the select committee. Appropriate persons. That's interesting phrasing. He said, at this stage of the game, I think it's worth trying once again to reassure the American people that those of us that are here, we're not trying to hide anything, but we will protect very clearly those items of national interest with regard to our national security. So who defines that?
But
who defines that?
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, that all sounds great. It's like we always say, it all sounds good on paper. They have such a way with language and words, right? All the semantics of the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see what happens. I think nothing's going to happen. Yeah. This is all just to placate everybody.
Right. It's
good
like
boy,
AAR.
pat on the head, go play. Go find something else that's interesting.
We were going to get the Trump administration and the Biden too, so it goes both ways. But the Trump,
nobody's going to tell us anything.
Full report on those drones. Where's the full report?
Like I have said, if it's national security, I got it. I understand. That's important. I got it. Say that. Couldn't you just say, yep, we have some evidence of things. We cannot disclose it because it violates security. Bingo, done. So then we know you have information, you have stuff, you have evidence of things, right? You just can't tell us certain things. I am far more happy with that than I am with this flowery language. Let's cover this up, blah, blah, blah. Let's hide this. I don't know. I don't get it.
Well, speaking of UFOs, there's some stuff going on across the pond, isn't there?
Well, yeah. So some British UFO hearings are planned with some MPs, and they are going to hear from their Royal Air Force, RAF, Army, Navy whistleblowers. They're going to tell all about their experiences, and because they've been previously banned from revealing a lot of this information. They were afraid of ridicule. They were worried they were going to lose their jobs and be fired. So they're going to hold public hearings, and it's going to be US style. I guess they were kind of basing it off of us, actually, off of us in the US, saying that, look, they're having this kind of these hearings. Why aren't we? Right. And so they have a new UFO disclosure group, and they secured a meeting with the minister from House of Lords to set up a forum where these RAF pilots and other, military can come and disclose the information that they have. Right. So people are still kind of curious of how it's going to work with the prime minister. Um, so they're just kind of seeing what's going to happen, but they're looking forward to setting up a meeting with his government. That's Sir Keir Starmer. And they want the evidence under oath. So I
don't
find it
know.
kind of interesting. It's not just here. And we've talked about this. There's sightings all over the world, Colombia. And I mean, you name it. There's stuff going on everywhere. So maybe they're taking our lead, but I hope they're not taking our lead with the semantics of the situation.
Yeah.
I hope maybe we'll get more clear answers from them than we have been getting from our own government, but I don't know. I don't
I wouldn't
I'm not
hold your
holding my
breath.
breath.
I wouldn't hold your breath.
Yeah, exactly. See?
But
Mind meld.
maybe it would be interesting. I think that particularly those of us in the States, and by the way, happy 4th of July to everybody. We're recording this a couple of days before 4th of July, so I hope you have a great and safe 4th of
I'm
July
all
weekend.
patriotic here. There we go.
Oh, well, here I've got something.
And
for
happy
you.
Canada Day yesterday to our fellow Canadians, the North Americans up there. Oh, there we go, Jim. Looking smart.
Thank
looking
you,
sharp.
Pair Eyewear. Thank you, Pair Eyewear.
You wear those all the time.
Yeah, I love them. Very
He
cool.
does, even when it's not 4th of July. Jim
That's
has
true.
those
I
on.
do. Where are
So-
my red, white, and blue sunglasses?
Oh, he couldn't find them for a while. He got very
Who
angry.
Who took them?
Yeah. Did Allie take them? Did she hide them? I'm like, no, I found them hiding in the car.
There you go. Well, something else.
What else is going on, Jim?
Something else has been hiding. See what I did there?
Clever.
Colossal Squid, and apparently,
calamari.
yeah. Yeah, we had some calamari for my birthday. We went out and I tried some calamari, and I'd had it
Not
before,
that kind.
but I don't think I had the real calamari because I had it and I'm like, I don't want it.
No. You have had real calamari, Italian style, the ones that, breaded and fried,
Right.
and the rings, and they're delicious.
Yeah.
You have never had the entire squid. Although, Italians will take the main part too, and they kind of stuff them
I was
and
like,
do things.
I'm eating
we've never done
octopus here. I don't want this. I got rid of it. But anyway, apparently, for the first time ever, this is Popular Mechanics, and it came out on my birthday. The colossal squid may have shown its secret face. And I don't know that you saw this, Dar.
No.
While I was going over this article before we record, I found the YouTube video.
Oh, cool.
And I put it in the show notes. You'll include it.
Oh, good. I will add that to the show notes.
But
then.
it's not one of these shaky cam things. It's like it's there. And it's super long. It was so long they couldn't get it in the field of focus.
Do they have like an estimate of how long it is? Like,
I'm not sure.
Measurement wise?
This was a nonprofit group called Colossal. And they found this immense cephalopod, and it's never been observed in its natural habitat. But it was right there on the video. It was very, very cool. Again, I would share it, but I don't want our channel to get banned here on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, it's a shame. They used a novel approach for imaging the ocean, outfitting a polar tourism vessel called the Ocean Endeavor with a deep sea camera. And they released the footage on YouTube.
Wow.
Very cool, I said. Antarctica has experienced rapid and complex change, and it's critical to have a better understanding of these changes for the region's oceans, ecosystems. The Colossal team wrote in a paper detailing their method in 2024.
Wow.
They said the video is being peer reviewed by experts. It's unlikely that scientists will ever know for sure, but because footage of any squid species in the Southern Ocean is rare, the footage is a huge victory for marine biologists studying these famously elusive animals regardless of its contents.
Wow.
So yeah, and it was like glowing. It was like glowing. I mean, I probably should have
Ooh.
just took a screenshot and thrown it up there so people could have seen a screenshot, but it was really amazing. So many
Well,
times I encourage people to go into links and look. So many times we get footage of whatever it is, a UFO or a ghost or a cryptid creature, and it's like shaky cam shadows.
yes.
This is
Clear and steady,
something
huh?
else. They said the colossal squid, when full grown, this creature is about as long as a bus and weighs nearly 1,100 pounds.
Wow. That
Yeah.
is
So I
very
thought that was kind of a
large.
cool thing to include because it's nice to actually be able to see something. And this is why when people talk about cryptids, I always say sea monsters are at the top of my list because how do we know what lives down below?
So
And
many mysteries
yeah,
in the ocean. Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
and just think about like how much of our earth is made of water, right? You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Was it
You know
like
what I mean?
70% or something like that?
Yeah, so I mean, like, come on, we don't have a clue. We probably like what, like this much, like such a minuscule amount that we really know and understand about what lives below, and
Yeah,
how deep can you get? You know,
yeah.
you don't want to be like the Titan. I mean,
No, no.
and
Well,
blow
I
up. So
mean,
I mean,
yeah.
yeah. So I
There's
mean,
only so much it can do.
until they can get the technology and of course it be safe and whatnot. So a lot of it is just, theory or speculation at this point. So when you have a story like you just presented with the squid and they've got some video proof, that's fantastic. I love seeing that
Absolutely.
kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So
I think
after this, I'll go take a look. But
yes. Well, with science, there's so many things that can be done, and some of them are very good, and some of them I'm not sure if it really is such a good idea.
no,
I think
this
you may
next
have
story is,
just such
yeah,
an example. Tell us about
this
it.
next story is not a good thing, my opinion. You guys may think it's great. I do not. So this article is from BBC, and it's saying work is beginning on creating artificial human DNA from scratch. So some of you may be saying, "Well, what's wrong with that?" And then and the researchers on this say, oh, well, the sky's the limit when we do this. We can look at therapies that will improve people's lives as they get older and do healthier aging and with less diseases. And we can, generate disease resistant cells. And yeah, so anyway, this project is coming from Wellcome Trust. And this is in the UK. They've given an initial £10 million to start this project. They feel it's gonna do more good than harm. I think it's gonna do more harm than good, and I'll tell you why, and there are other scientists out there that agree with me. Um, they're not all scientists are out there to do good, right? You know, you can repurpose science to do harm, and warfare. That was per Dr. Pat Thomas, and he's a director of the campaign group Beyond GM. And he's not the only one. Many of them feel like this is scary stuff. So what they're going to basically do, I'm not going to get into the huge science of it. It gets complicated and it might make my brain explode. But basically what they're going to do is they're going to take the DNA, build it from scratch, and this way they can test out how DNA really works and test out a lot of their theories that they can't do in existing living systems. Um, yeah. And they said it's gonna be confined to test tubes and petri dishes, and they're not gonna create synthetic life, in my opinion, until it gets into the wrong hands, and then they will.
Right, right.
Um,
Slippery slope.
yeah, yes, and that's what other people are saying. There's nothing to stop unscrupulous scientists from misusing this technology, and that was a direct quote in this article, and I can't agree more. It's
Well, the
scary
other
to me.
thing is that I think, and I do think we see it with AI to some extent now,
Mm.
is the idea of let's not slow down, let's speed up. There are many pressures, like with AI, there's the competition and with China, because China's almost certainly not going to slow up. And there's also the profit motive. Our company has to be first, and we have to do this to the strongest extent and as quickly as
Yes.
possible because
Yes.
we have to pump up our stock price. And the consequences be damned. And with something like this, yeah, it sounds good, but you know how all this stuff starts. Oh, we're not going to do X. And then a year or two later, well, we might do X, but
Well, we
don't
might do
worry
X.
about it. We've got safeguards, we've got
That's right.
guardrails.
We've have all the yeah. Well, and it says it in this, why did this welcome group decide to fund this, right? And they asked themselves, quote, what was the cost of inaction? This technology is going to be developed one day. So by doing it now, we're at least trying to do it as a responsible way as possible. But people brought up a good point. Okay, so fine, you do this, then it's slippery slope. You create synthetic body parts and then synthetic people, and who owns them? Who owns the data?
Right. Are they
Where's
are
the
they a full
morality in all of
human?
this?
Are they
Yes.
considered a full human with rights? I mean, we're worried about the sentience of AI and robots.
And the
These are
robots,
this
yeah.
is DNA,
We got
and then
everything. Well, maybe
somebody
we
will
could
get the
sick
bright
the
idea.
robots against
Let's
the
marry.
DNA
No,
people.
let's marry the two. We'll take this synthetic DNA and incorporate, super intelligence into it
Well, we
somehow.
can build skin, we can build organs around
Elon
the
Musk has
AI
Neuralink. He
robots.
could put Neuralink in these. You could
Of
have
course. There you
uh,
go.
superhumans.
Scary.
It
I'm
is.
sorry, I'm
It's a
scared.
lot
This
of
is
that. I
scary
mean,
stuff.
you left that movie Jurassic Park. What was the quote? They were so focused on seeing if they could do it, they couldn't figure out if they should do it. That's the general sense. It's
Well,
not a direct
there we
quote.
go. I'm
So, but my
as a
apologies to
local
Jeff Goldblum.
yeah, as a local radio station radio host would say, I'm glad I'm on the back nine.
Yeah,
But I don't even think my back nine is gonna be enough to not see this because
yeah.
they're moving at
You're
record
going to see a
pace.
lot of this.
So, yeah, I'm
Well, and
scared. And what else
scientists
should you be scared of,
now
Jim?
scientists are asking, can memories be extracted from the dead? Actually, there was a survey about this, and this is not a surprise because there's been a lot of talk of immortality, and
Right.
the idea is that okay, your body is a machine, and it eventually is going to shut down and die, even though we try to prolong it. But if you could essentially download the mental capacity in the brain of someone, could you put that in some type of a vessel, a computer perhaps? And would the essence of that person exist? So, folks have gone out and done a survey and asked neuroscience, hey, do you think it might be possible to extract memories from a preserved brain and store those memories inside a computer? It's a
Hmm.
study published in the journal PLOS One and suggests that most neuroscientists believe that memory has a physical basis, so it's physical, and they give a 40% probability that we might
Ooh.
one day be able to emulate a human brain, but they really don't know what the physical basis is. They surveyed 312 neuroscientists. Now, they're saying that we might be able to emulate a human brain, but even if you can emulate it, will you be able to transfer the memories? I'm not sure.
With
Um,
AI, they probably will be able to.
yeah, who knows? The survey showed that 70% of neuroscientists agree that a physical molecular record of memory exists stored in stable changes to neural connectivity and interactions between proteins and other cellular components. However, there was no clear consensus on exactly which neurophysiological feature or scale is critical for memory storage. So, in other words, kind of, sort of, we think it might be possible someday, but we don't know the functions of it and those kind of things.
Well, memory is
Um,
so complex. I mean, I studied memory and cognition. I worked on people's memory skills with people who've had strokes, TBIs, traumatic brain injuries. When I worked in the medical sector, that was a huge part of what I did. And memory is so complex and so difficult. I don't think it's so easy to just, compartmentalize it as, so I don't good luck, because I think that's gonna be very difficult. There's so many different, like, neural pathways to how you access a memory, how you store the memory, where it gets stored. Some memories don't get stored with other memories, and you have the short term, the long term, I mean, it's very complicated, so I'll hold
Yeah.
out hope for that one. But see, we already have a whole human being. They're gonna take the memories of dead people, they're gonna create synthetic body parts, and we've got humanoids running around, and so here we go. They
Yeah.
don't need us.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But they said that when asked when we might be able to emulate a human brain, the respondents gave a median answer of 2125. So I don't think I'm going to have to worry about it. Unless,
Oh, they'll speed that up,
well, it
don't
could
you
be.
think?
It
I
could
don't
be.
know.
It could
Just with
be.
everything else, moving at breakneck speed. I don't
Yep.
know.
Yep. Yep.
Just scary times. Maybe I'm just old. Maybe some people look at it differently, and they're welcoming this and they're
Well, I think
excited
there could
by
be
it.
good aspects of a lot of this stuff, but
It could, but I
this
always look at the
particular,
negative.
well, it's human history a lot of times.
Well,
But the one thing I'll say,
it's scary.
the one thing I'll say about this study is they don't account for one thing, which I believe is an X factor here, and that's the human soul. Because I
If you
believe the
believe in the
human
human soul, there's
soul,
people who don't. And then you have those unscrupulous,
right?
evil people out there that don't want to do it for good. And, I think that's what scares me the most. It's not that I don't look forward to research and learning more about how our body works and being able to fight diseases. I mean, God, wouldn't it be wonderful? We get rid of ALS or Parkinson's, some of these motor disorders, get rid of cancer. I mean, it would be fantastic. I just worry because there are so many people out there who don't want to do good and wish bad on things. So,
No,
yeah,
that's
I guess
true.
that's my worry.
Well, it could be a worse. An alien could ring on your doorbell, right?
Yeah, I suppose so. All right. So I got this article, unexplained-mysteries.com. There's also a YouTube video. I'm going to put the link up so you can take a look. So an alien showed up on a doorbell camera in Compton, California. Um yeah, so something was lurking outside the dark on June 6th, and if you see the clip, you see some strange bluish gray figure with a weird shaped head walking quickly across the screen, and then you hear some sounds, and it's like, "Oh no," and, the person that posted it says she's got cameras in the back, they're motion censored, and it didn't pick up anything, and she said her aunt lives next door and said at 12:45 she heard 3 loud bangs on the roof of the house, which she thought was wild. Um, and heard scratching sounds and ran to her room and started praying. Yeah. Okay, so I saw the clip. Hopefully you guys go see it. I did not think it was an alien. Now,
What did you
normally
think it was?
I tend to believe it just looked like some guy wearing a white hoodie, and then the sounds to me looked like somebody was opening a garage door manually. You know how it makes that
An
kind of
alien could
noise?
open a garage
Well, it
door.
could. Okay, so here's my caveat though. The only the only thing that was a little odd was the height of the figure. So I don't know if it was just the weird perspective of where the camera was, but there is a car in the background and the height of this figure was kind of short.
Hmm.
So that's the only thing that kind of led me to think, well, it could be just, it could be an alien, maybe, but I don't know. It just looks like it could just be some young kid wearing a hoodie, and people in the YouTube video and the comments were arguing about it and saying, well, who has the kid out at that time of night? And you'd be surprised how many kids are out when their parents have no idea what they're doing. So I don't know. You guys be the judge. I will put it up in the show notes. I didn't think it was an alien. Just looked like somebody wearing like a gray hoodie. And I didn't think the head, I mean, I re-looked at the video a few times and I could see what they were saying where they thought the head was shaped weird. But I just thought it was kind of like the camera was doing a little glitch when it was walking by, and it's so fast. So good luck. I slowed it down and actually tried to really look. Cause hey, I'm interested, but I'm not buying this one. What do you think, Jim?
Well, I tend to say no. I tend to say no. And my default is believing experiencers. You know that. And I always say that on the Campfire Show. But on this one, I'm going to say I'm not necessarily buying this one.
I will say what's funny, right below the figure, as the figure's walking past, right below on her porch, she's got a sign that says, "Dear God," and some kind of some kind of little saying under it. And then you see this weird thing under there. So I thought that was kind of funny. But
Dear God, keep the aliens away.
there you go.
Or the lake
Well,
monsters, as the
or I
case
was
may
gonna
be.
say,
Yep, yep,
yeah.
yep. The next story, this was from PennLive.com. And apparently there is a lake monster, or some people think there's a lake monster at Raystown Lake in Pennsylvania. It is in, let's see where it is. It's in Huntingdon, with a D, Huntingdon County, Pennsylvania, Raystown Lake.
Okay.
And guess what the name of the supposed sea monster is? This is a good name. Ray,
Okay.
for Raystown Lake. I
Well,
thought that
there we
was
go.
so
That
cool.
makes
Yeah.
sense. Good.
Yeah. So this is a man-made lake, and some people believe that there is Ray. They said the first time he was spotted was in 1962, not too long before
Oh,
Angels got to work on the new dam there. And they said that people were so freaked out by this weird dark creature seen the wire that the annual Raystown Ski Club water show nearly canceled their event.
ooh.
And apparently this is a book, Sleeping in Satan's Den, Folk Stories and Scary Tales of Eastern Kentucky, which I don't know why a Pennsylvania monster would be in a Kentucky book. But anyway, describes this thing as serpent-like 50 to 60 feet in length. And other alleged witnesses accounts say that they swore that they'd seen a huge fish with great glowing eyes. But not to worry, because apparently there's a song dedicated to Ray. And in the
Oh,
song, he's
good.
described as not a barbarian, strictly vegetarian, a gentle giant who's timid and meek and means no one harm.
Aw.
So, and then they go on to
There
say
we
there's
go. We need
people on
plushy rays.
people on Reddit who say, poppycock, I don't believe it. I'm not buying it. It's a man-made lake. How this would have happened. And even some people who claim that it was created by the Chamber of Commerce to drum up tourism. But again, I am very much pro water monster, lake monster, sea monster. Maybe something got in when it was very small and became very large. We just don't have a clear idea of what's
No.
going on under the water. Even in lakes, we live next to a great lake, or not right next to. I mean, our town is next to a great lake, Lake Erie, and even a great lake is massive. We have no idea.
No, we
So, I
don't.
mean, probably a much better idea than we have about the oceans, but still, we don't know what's really hiding under there. It's a massive
Well, look at
area.
the
So,
look at the squid. They just, they were able
yeah,
to just photograph that and saw, how large it was. Who's to say there's not a, what did they say, 60-foot
yeah,
serpent under there? Who knows?
yeah.
And how do you know? Maybe it slithered in one night just because it's man-made. That doesn't mean anything. Or some kind of weird genetic thing happened to create it. I mean,
Like
nobody,
a Godzilla thing.
well, who knows? You don't know.
You know,
I don't know.
I don't. I
Hey,
don't.
until there's definitive proof, hey, knock yourself out. Do they have like a little festival and stuff for Ray? They need little plushies and whatnot. Well, they have it for Nessie, right? I
That's
mean,
true. That's true.
there you
That's
go.
true.
Well, I love this next story. I love this next story, Jim. Yeah, this is from mensjournal.com.
Mm-hmm.
And last week we talked about the Wall Street Journal article that kind of
Yeah.
poo-pooed everything, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
And who was behind that again? Like who did they think? Like what big UFO um head of AARO? What was it?
Kirkpatrick. Sean Kirkpatrick.
Kirkpatrick. Yeah, he's well-known skeptic on all of this, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, they're thinking he's the one that kind of spoon-fed uh the Wall Street Journal article.
Am I
Uh
surprised?
he spoon-fed the bad information. So this article is very interesting because Kirkpatrick is being offered $100,000 for an interview with one of his toughest critics. I thought that would have been
Wow.
us, but I guess
I
not. Well,
checked
we
the
don't
bank
have that kind of
account.
money.
I
We
checked the
could give
bank
him
account.
$1.
We'll give you a shiny
$10.
dollar.
We'll give you $10.
Yeah. I'll give you a fin. Would
I-
you take a Jackson? Would you take a Jackson?
there you go.
I might get
Shiny.
up.
No.
I might get up to a grant. For that high of a guest,
Oh,
maybe I could do a grant.
Maybe we could do a grant. Maybe.
That would,
I
I'd
don't
have
know.
to
Is
take
it
out a
worth
loan
it?
first. But maybe I could.
Maybe. Well, anyway, June 22nd, Jesse, and I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with him. Michels or Michaels, Michels. So he's on X. He's, I guess, pretty popular. And he went on his X account and he said, quote, I will pay Sean Kirkpatrick $50,000 on top of travel and accommodations to come on my show and discuss these Wall Street Journal articles. Surely, if he's correct and not cynical about his positions, basic incentives would apply. My only condition is we don't edit any of it.
Right.
And then the next day he gets on there and he said, my buddy Kyle offered another 50 grand. So $100,000 payment, simple, unedited podcast appearance from Sean Kirkpatrick. That's what he wants.
Wow.
Yeah, because he wants to interview him. He wants to say, okay, let's talk. So, it would be an adversarial interview. I don't think ours would be adversarial. I just think we would do very difficult questions for him.
Yeah.
I think.
Now, was this the response? Crickets. That's what I thought. Yes,
Exactly.
yes.
Yeah, he's not issued a response. Guess he doesn't need the money. Hey, could we go on the show? I'll go on the show for 100 grand. I'll go on for a shiny grant. No,
I do shows for free. I mean,
yeah, you do. So I just thought that was interesting. That was funny. What do you got? What are you afraid of? Right? That's my opinion. What are you afraid of? If you stand by, hey, if you stand by your convictions.
He could do? Here's what he could do, because I was going to say, well, maybe it doesn't appear professional. But here's what he could do. He could say, I will not personally take the money, but you can donate it to this charity.
He could. Or he could just say,
I'll do
it for free.
Well, I could, but
I don't.
But this would be something where he could answer the critics.
Do good.
And he could do good. So that's my recommendation. Dr. Kirkpatrick.
My opinion,
I'm not giving you any money, but if you want to go with these guys and get $100,000, go for it. Donate it to a great charity. Do good.
That's right.
Answer some of the people's questions. I think that's a great idea.
If you stand by your convictions, I don't know why you'd be afraid to get on there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, if you really truly believe what you're spewing out and you believe it, even if it's not true, if you believe it, why are you not going and defending it?
I wasn't saying this. Were they speculating that Kirkpatrick was the one who was like the source for this article? I mean, I know he's mentioned in it, but
they're the ones saying this. So he this Michelle's. I am so sorry, Jesse. Don't be angry at me. I don't know. I'll have to check you out. We, like you always say, Jim, we try not to really pay a lot of attention to other.
Right. Because I don't want to inadvertently plagiarize somebody or if I listen to something or watch something too much and then it gets stuck in my dim little brain here. And in 3 weeks, I'm doing an interview, I might spew it back out and forget that I heard it somewhere else.
Right. And not give proper credit. So I apologize if I'm butchering your name, but Michael said on his own channel in a video he posted on there, he's alleging that Kirkpatrick was spoon-feeding bad information. No. He feels that he spoon-fed the Wall Street Journal bad information for their recent debunking.
See, I don't think it's necessarily entirely bad information. I think a lot of it is selective information. Like a lot of what I think in that article was done was, let me show you this example where the government used this for disinformation. And that was probably true. But that doesn't mean there's not anything other to the other case. Now, I'm not saying they were correct because there were some things they said there like, that doesn't sound right to me, or they're mischaracterizing that. I felt that. But a lot of it was a shell game. It was, look at this shiny thing over here where the government pulled this. Therefore, none of it's real. It was just, I think the article
It's always the all or nothing. It's always the all or nothing. So here, we'll give you this. This is all of it. So it's nothing. No,
Nothing to
it's
see
not
here.
all of it, and it's not nothing. So,
Yeah.
stop with the semantics.
Yep.
We're not that stupid. Hello.
Well, it might not matter. Might not
It's not gonna
matter
matter, is it, Jim? We got some more
because
bad news for y'all.
apparent more bad news. This is the bad news report. I'm Jim Harold. Apparently, the universe has a self-destruct button that could wipe
Oh,
out life in
brother.
an instant. And guess what? It could happen at absolutely any time. We might not even make it through this podcast.
Oh,
So,
no.
yeah, experts
Well, I
now
won't have to
believe.
cook dinner tonight.
There you go. Experts now believe the universe may have a built-in self-destruct button called false vacuum decay.
I've heard of this.
And they say the basic idea is that our universe isn't currently in its most stable state, meaning we are in what scientists call a false vacuum. If the universe is ever pushed into its stable state, a bubble of true vacuum will expand through the universe, destroying everything it touches. You know what I have to say about this vacuum? It really sucks.
I knew you were gonna get a pun in here somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, Jim is the king of
Yeah.
puns.
Professor Ian Moss, a cosmologist at Newcastle University, told Mail Online, this is from dailymail.co.uk, that the universe is like a tabletop with many dominoes standing on their side.
Dominoes.
That's when I lose. Domino. Anyway, Professor Moss says they could stay
You're
upright.
on fire tonight.
That's me. They can stay upright unless some small disturbance topples one and triggers them all to fall. And then we go, and he didn't say this, but then we all go poof.
We go
Sounds like it
boom.
would happen very fast too. So you wouldn't even know what hit you.
Well, that's good. I don't want to particularly suffer. It'd be good to have it go quickly.
Yeah. Dr. Luz Hamid, a postdoctor fellow at the National Institute for Nuclear Physics in Naples, said a good analogy for a field in a false vacuum is a marble in a bowl on top of a stool. The marble cannot leave the bowl unless it's given some energy in the form of a push, and then, well, you know what happens. It comes crashing down, and it'll fall all the way to the ground. Yeah. So, I mean, it goes into a lot
so
greater
uplifting.
depth, but
Oh yeah, this gets really complicated.
but the
if we're
thing
talking
is
science.
it's kind of like the human body. You know, if you think that about everything that can fail in a human body, you wouldn't get up in the morning. You're going to like, oh, I'm going to have an aneurysm. You had an interesting story. Didn't you say you had a class with a science class with someone who came in and said we're all walking around with aneurysms?
Oh yeah, it was one of my neurology classes, and it was one of the first things he told us. What a great professor. Shout out to I believe it was Dr. Threats, and I don't know if he's still with us. I feel bad, but he came in and he said, every one of you in this room, and mind you, most of us in the room were like in our 20s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not even mid 20s at that point. But so, there were a few older people, but nothing. So he's like, every one of you, including myself, every one of us has an aneurysm right now in your brain. And basically what that really is just a weakening, right? An aneurysm is a weakening of an artery. And we all have weak arteries. The difference is, does it burst? Right. So, right.
Well, now that we've cheered everybody up.
We just cheered everyone up. We have like synthetic body parts and
government
brains,
cover-up, colossal squids,
memories being squashed. I don't know, whatever. Well, let's lighten it up. We always like our little celeb news, or maybe I just like the celeb news. I don't know.
I like celeb news.
I love her name, Mariska. I think that's just so cool. Mariska.
Well, the daughter of Gene Mansfield, right?
Correct. Mariska Hargitay. Apparently her career was predicted, and this is according to Entertainment Weekly, her career was predicted by a foul-mouthed Long Island psychic. And I don't know if I could say the word that he said. Can I say the word, Jim?
The rats. Yeah,
Yes.
you can say that.
Am I allowed to say that word? Because I didn't know. I don't want to be
allowed.
bleeped out. So anyway, the psychic told her, I don't give a rat's ass what you think. So apparently, Mariska was on the Call Her Daddy podcast this week, and she was talking about that book or the documentary that she just did about her mom.
Yeah.
My mom, Jane, and talking about Law and Order, SVU, and whatever. So when she started out, she was confident her career was in comedy. She was living in LA. She was living in a house that her dad had built. with like, I don't know how many friends
And
in the
wasn't
house.
wasn't her dad like Mr. Universe or something?
Yeah, well, there's all that
Hargitay, Nikki
controversy
Hargitay,
about her
yeah.
dad right now. Like, her dad's not her biological
Oh,
dad.
I
I don't know
did
if you heard all that news. Oh,
oh.
yeah. Well, that's not for this show. But anyway, she used to go to New York twice a year. She would go to see theater, and one of her friends is like, "You have to see this psychic that lives on Long Island." And
Mhm.
she's like, "I don't even know where Long Island was, you know." But anyway, she went. So she drives to this guy house, and she's like, you know what? This is just going to be a bunch of bull, you know what? Because he's just going to Google me and know that I'm Jane Mansfield's daughter, and he's going to come up with all this crap, right? So she sits down, and he says, "You see that face?" And she's quoting here, and I have this on a recording. You see that face right now? And she says, "Yeah." He goes, "You're going to be famous for that face. That face, that serious face." That was a quote. So she was taken aback, and she replies to him, quote, "I'm going to be a comedian." And he says, "This is my favorite thing I think anyone's ever said to me." He goes like this, "I don't give a rat's ass what you think. You're gonna be
Hey now.
famous." Yeah, "You're gonna be famous for that face." And then he says to me, "And you're moving to New York." And she's like, "No, I have this gorgeous house in LA." And, 6 months later, she moved to New York. She got SVU, and
And
she
that's
was
weird because usually
not in
TV series
comedian.
you would get in Los Angeles, I would think, but somehow that worked out and that God, how long has that show been on? 20 years?
Yeah, and so she's been living in New York since, but yeah, he predicted it, and there you go. And she
Hmm.
got the job in New York.
Hmm.
So she always
Uh,
remembered that, thought it was great. You know what else
uh,
is great, Jim?
yeah, I'm actually kind of hungry, so I think this next story kind of fits.
Is it really good? No. Well, we just found this today. This is just a short little bonus nugget. So BuzzFeed has come up with a quiz that you can take based on the 10 different pasta dishes you choose. It's going to tell you your zodiac with scary results.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Oh, yeah.
what
Like,
were
it's so
your
accurate.
what were your
So accurate.
results? Thumbs down if
It
you're listening.
it it told me, I was Aquarius and I'm a Scorpio, so it was
Mm.
not accurate. And I come to read a bunch of the comments, almost everybody gave it thumbs down. They're like, "I'm a Capricorn," or "I'm an," mm-mm. I rarely did I see a comment where it got it right. I think there was like over 300 like little mean faces. Now Cassandra, it got Cassandra right. So what
Huh.
it basically, if you take the quiz, it shows you 4 pasta dishes. You pick the one that you would pick, like lasagna, uh, bolognese, cacio e pepe, yeah, chicken Alfredo. One was mac and cheese sometimes. So whatever. So apparently it doesn't know me. And
The
I'm
only way I would
Italian.
take it is if I actually got to eat the different pasta dishes, then I would be
I can
glad to
make
take
almost
it.
all of those.
Oh, I know you can. You're a
Well, I
master.
have made
But
most of them.
the ironic thing we'll share with people is kind of like behind the scenes. But
Yeah,
I probably ate more pasta growing
you
up
did.
than you did. My family
Yes.
loved pasta. They weren't Italian, but they grew up. My dad's side grew up in a place with a lot of Italians. So I don't know. Maybe that's why we had spaghetti 2 or 3 times a week, different versions of a rigatoni, whatever, and with all different kinds of weird meats. We had one time we had well
No,
more than one time a spam.
don't
They
tell
used
me
to
that.
cook
No, 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 no,
it
no,
was
no, no,
like
no, no,
elbow macaroni with
no.
spam and tomato sauce. I liked it when
No.
I was a kid, but ugh.
With
But
red
it wasn't even
sauce?
a lot of times. Yeah, it was with sauce and spam.
Oh,
Yeah,
red sauce.
yeah. But it was a little bit. But
Okay.
anyway, the point being, I love pasta, and it's not good for me. It's
No, so
that
that's what
whole
he
thing.
gets so angry with me because I will not make pasta very often at all.
I could eat
Okay.
it. I could eat it
He
every week,
could.
and I'd be happy.
He would.
And it's
I
not even
can't do it.
it's a lot of people they associate with money, but my folks were working
No,
class
actually,
people, but
that's
my
supposed to
dad.
be a more affordable meal,
Well,
actually, pasta.
That's why I'm saying they associated you eat it to save money, but that was not the reason we ate it. We ate it because we liked it. It's not that we were rich, but my parents were middle class. They were okay. It wasn't trying to scrape on food costs. It's because they loved pasta. I mean, some kind of pasta 2, 3 times a week. Easy.
No, Sunday was pasta day. Sunday in the
Yeah,
Italian household was pasta day. Yep.
I like that
Yep.
tradition. We need to bring it
I
back.
know. No. Blood sugars, dear. Blood sugars too high. Unless you
I'll
eat
go for a
like,
walk after. I'll go for a walk afterwards. How
a
about that?
walk's not gonna do anything.
A brisk walk. What about a brisk walk?
How about a run? No.
You're gonna tell me to
That's why the marathoners eat pasta. They eat those carbs.
take a brisk
Yep.
walk off of a short pier, Dar says
Hey,
to me.
everything in moderation is good. And I do make it on occasion.
Yes, yes.
Also,
You make
tell everybody the real reason why I don't make pasta too. The other reason,
You're
because the way
tired of it.
I make pasta.
It's
No,
very
it's
involved.
I don't open up just a jar and throw it on the pasta. I don't do that, right? Very rarely do I do
You make
that.
it you make
And
it
I only
come
have
from
certain
scratch,
brands
yeah.
I will buy that
Yeah.
are appropriate.
But you
that
make
come
tremendous
close.
the best lasagna I've ever had. It just
That thing weighs 40 pounds. I
Yeah.
should weigh it one year.
Yeah.
I should weigh
It's
my
like
pasta.
you go to one of these chain restaurants and you get their lasagna and it's like, this is a pretender. This isn't real lasagna. You need to
My
have
mom's
Dar's
recipe. She
lasagna.
did secret things. She did different things. A lot of people would not like the way my mom made it. So, the way I make it now, they would not like it. It is cholesterol and a heart attack on a plate. It truly, truly is. As much meat, cheese as you can get in there. So,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
really good. It's really good.
Yeah.
And something
Now
else
you
that's
want
really
lasagna.
good. Something that's really good is our merch store, jimharold.com/merch, jimharold.com/merch.
I've been working all day on a t-shirt. I'm hoping to have it
Yeah.
out very, very soon. And we've got this
That'd be
other
really-
thing. We tried to have it out this week, but we had a nightmare with it.
Yeah, we got to keep working on that. and
showed
see
him
what
last week,
happens.
yeah.
Yeah, the mystery item. And then something else that's coming, although we're not entirely sure. I'm hoping to announce it on Thursday, the 3rd, is our new free paranormal community. But we're waiting on one little technical thing.
Oh, it's a
But,
technical thing.
Yeah. But once that's out, let's put it this way. If you hear it on Campfire, it's launched because the Campfire's already recorded and that piece is in there, but we're not releasing Campfire until everything is tuned up. But it'll be a
Excellent
lot of
campfire
fun.
this week too, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, you just
Yes,
did a
I watched
quality
it for
control
quality
watch event.
control.
Yes, yes.
Yes, very good stories
And
for
that
sure.
one story, that story about the gin,
Ooh,
spooky.
very spooky story. There's some really good, a nice mix of
Yes,
different things this
I would
week. I
agree.
enjoyed
I would
that.
agree.
Yeah. And going back to your campfire, your paranormal group, shout
Yeah.
out to all those founding members that are on there.
Yeah. I think it was like
Yay.
something like 380 of
Yes.
them
So
have signed
very
up, and
awesome.
they're giving suggestions, and I'm discovering things. But it's pretty much ready to go, except for that
I'm
one
having
little.
fun.
Yeah, it's great because it's kind of the fun part of social media without the crap.
Yes.
No spammy ads. The problem with the Facebook group, and this is basically going to replace our Facebook group eventually. We're not going to turn it off right now, but eventually it will replace the Facebook group. The idea is that to take the fun of the Facebook group and put it in a place where it isn't interrupted by all these promoted posts for, ads for Frisbees or, various
AI
things.
this.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things that pop up on Facebook. But anyway, and then the other thing is that, if I post something, 27,000 people in a community, maybe 1,000 people see it, maybe. And the same goes for when you share your stories or stuff. So we wanted a place where if you come on, you contribute, people are going to see it. They're going to comment. People have been participating. It's been great. I say I get more interaction with this with less than 400 members than we get on the virtual campfire group because nobody sees it because Facebook is constantly interfering and pushing their stuff. So it'll be good. There'll be more details to come. Listen to this week's campfire, hopefully. And that should be in there because I think it's literally one little switch that has to be flipped and we'll be 100% there. So stay tuned. Well, we thank you for
also
speaking
a
with
shout
somebody
out.
else. Yes.
Real quick, a shout out to Marie in Hawaii, Kitchen Witch Hawaii.
Oh, yes.
Thank you. She sent us the most wonderful package with all these Hawaiian goodies and things that she's created. So search her Kitchen Witch Hawaii. She was on the show I don't think it's quite aired yet.
I don't think it's aired yet.
For
No.
Campfire. Yeah. So I just wanted a quick shout out and a big thank you to her. That was very, very
that
sweet.
was so sweet.
We
Yeah,
really
such
appreciate it. And
nice-
we're hoping one day we can get to Hawaii one day. It's on my
Yes.
bucket list. I really
One
want to
day,
go.
one
It'd
day.
be beautiful. But
We're-
yeah, just a quick shout out to her and everybody else for communicating
Yes.
with me too. So
Yes. And and the new place, which shall remain nameless until we publicly announce it. Dar will be there commenting. She's already been commenting and interfacing.
yeah,
with
I'm
people.
sorry. Jim said I was kind of rude yesterday. No,
I didn't think you were rude, but I could see how it could be read a couple
it
different ways.
could have been construed. I just was kind of wanting to stir up some
Yeah, like-
interaction.
Yeah, come on, guys, let's.
Like it's party
yeah,
time.
Rah rah,
kind of.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but
Okay.
anyway,
done.
regardless, it's a great place, and you have a great time interacting with Dar, and me too, hopefully. And we hope to see you over there. We'll tell you more about. Thank you for joining me this week on the Paranormal Report as I hit the theme music. And we will talk to you next time, particularly during the July 4th weekend. Stay safe and stay spooky.
Bye.